What's up, all football fans? It's time for NFL picks and predictions for week number 16. And as you guys can tell, we're a little late for our picks and predictions, aren't we? The games are already over. It's already Monday. But of course, with the holidays, with Christmas and all that stuff, I just never found the time to make this quick video. So instead, we're going to do our prediction, of course, for the game tonight, Monday Night Football, and talk about what I did pick and which games I got wrong from Thursday till today. So without further ado, let's just get right underway with it. The Jets sucked. The Jets absolutely sucked, but I picked them. And that is going to screw me over because I am only 2 points out of first place for this week, and I can't catch them now with only one game looming. So I'm very disappointed in the New York Jets for having such an abysmal showing. I thought it'd be a much closer game. Even if they were going to lose to the Jaguars, I felt like they kind of got their asses handed to them a little poorly, right? So not the greatest start to the week, of course. Then we jumped over to Buffalo against Chicago, and that was a pretty easy pick. Though Chicago did score some points, we went with the Bills, and the Bills won. Next game, surprising, but good for us, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. It's very good for me because I want Tom Brady out. I don't want Tom Brady in this Super Bowl. I don't want him anywhere near it. So, because usually that's when he turns on the Jets. Usually, even though he's in this club right now, he's not in a good way. He's looking he's looking his age. He's not looking washed up necessarily, but I would love to finally watch a playoff pitcher with no Tom Brady in it. I'm sorry, I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan. I try not to be a hater, but it's about time. So having New Orleans beat Cleveland, even though I picked the Cleveland Browns, is potentially a good thing because both Carolina and New Orleans have a chance to knock Tampa Bay out of first place of their division, and then that would seal Tom Brady's fate and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right there. Now, jumping into the next game, we have Kansas City up against Seattle, and I easily picked the Chiefs. Though the game looked, at first, when you look at it on paper 24-10, you see like, well, it's not as much as a blowout as you really thought. It's only a 2-possession game, but still, Kansas City clearly had their number. Then we went over to Minnesota up against the Giants. Now, I did pick the Vikings. However, that was a pretty close game, 27-24. Quite a good game, in fact. I actually enjoyed watching that game. I caught most of it, not the whole thing, but I ended up catching quite a bit of it. Then, of course, Cincinnati versus New England, and the Patriots actually showed up. They showed up, but the Bengals did win, and of course, we went with the Bengals. Then we had another loss for me. I picked the Lions up against Carolina, but once again, the Panthers winning their game means another team who has a shot at taking over from Tampa Bay in their division. Now, and once again, that's all I care about. I don't care if it's Atlanta, New Orleans, or Carolina that takes it. At this point, it probably can't be Atlanta because they're behind. But I don't care as long as it's not Tampa Bay. And beating Detroit is a good thing as far as that's concerned. Though I did go with the Lions, and I was a little disappointed to only see 23 points on the board by Detroit. 37 by Carolina. It was a wash, but nonetheless, not the best showing by the Lions. Then we had the Baltimore Ravens up against Atlanta. And once again, Baltimore showing that they let even weaker teams sort of do whatever they want most of the time, but they still manage to squeak out a win by about a possession. Then we have Tennessee up against Houston, and lo and behold, Houston isn't the one-win, one-tie team anymore. Now they have 2 wins. They actually have 2 wins now. That's really good because I sort of feel bad for Houston. I really do because they are putting points on the board. They're not being completely dog-walked 40-0 by every team they go against. They just can't seem to get anything going on both fronts in the same game. And the fact that they beat Tennessee, the Titans were looking pretty solid earlier in the year and a little bit mid-year. Now here at the tail end, they just... I don't know what's happening to the Titans. Sort of doing a bit of a roller coaster act, it seems. Then we jump over to San Francisco up against Washington. And it was a pretty easy pick to pick the 49ers. And I did go with the 49ers as much as Washington has been treating me extremely well in this year's pool. I had to be honest with myself. And sometimes you can't pick. Washington wasn't going to win every game. I have a pretty good record with Washington, but San Francisco was clearly going to win the game, and they did. They won handily with 37-20. Now, here was the big game. Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, Cowboys versus the team. How about them Cowboys versus the number 1 team in the league, the Philadelphia Eagles. And we won. How about them Cowboys? It was a good thing we lost against Jacksonville, ladies and gentlemen. It was absolutely good. We would not have lost against Jacksonville had we lost against Houston the prior week. We needed a loss against a mid-tier team to a low-tier team at best to really give them a wake-up call. Squeaking out a win against Houston wasn't enough of a wake-up call. We should have lost that game. Had we lost it, we would have taken Jacksonville far more seriously, would have been a totally different ball game. But that loss set us up for playing well, for playing a very good game. Yes, there were some turnovers, yes, interceptions on both sides of the game, but at the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys win 40-34. We beat the number 1 team. There's no reason for me to believe. And with that, of course, once again, with Washington's last week, we already were in the playoff spot, but now there is an actual chance for us to kick the Eagles out of the top of the division, and we can potentially be the one who wins our own division and not just cinch it as a wild card. So, a little bit of gravy on top, if you will. They're both going to the playoffs regardless, but it's sort of nice to see the Eagles take an L from the Cowboys. Then we jump into Pittsburgh versus Vegas, and though it was a close game, I went with the Steelers and got the W there. Miami up against Green Bay. Unfortunately, it was a very close game. I caught it up until it was about 20-20 when it was a tie game, and then of course there was other festivities going on, so I didn't catch what ended up happening, but apparently the Packers did beat the Miami Dolphins. Very sad for me in my pool once again, because that's another loss that I took, and that kicked me out of the running for winning the week, and because I went with the Dolphins. Then Denver versus the Rams. I clearly put the Rams, and the Rams completely destroyed Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos, to no one's real surprise. Then Tampa Bay against Arizona, and though a very, very close game, because once again, Tom Brady is not looking the best. Not going to say washed up, but between what's going on in his own life and stuff, it's clearly affecting him, and I'm just saying that, and he's also showing his age. And Tampa Bay barely squeaks out a win by 3 points up against Arizona Cardinals, who, let's be honest, they're not even they're not even considered a mid-tier team at this point by a lot of people, myself included. So, yeah, that's not a great showing, even if it is a W. And finally, my prediction for tonight. Many people are going with the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Colts, because the Chargers seem to constantly let me the fuck down, don't they? Every single time I seem to pick the Chargers, ladies and gentlemen, you would know from watching previous videos, I seem to take the L. So I'm going with the upset. It's in Indianapolis. I'm going with the Colts, even though the Colts aren't a great team. Upsets. If Houston won this week, then I'm just saying, remember, Houston won this week, and Green Bay won this week. So why not a hat trick? Why not the Colts as well? Why not make it a hat trick of upsets, of true upsets? So those are my picks and predictions for week number 16 of the NFL. And of course, I would like to say this is the second last week, but of course, now we have week 18. Not the biggest fan of extending it, in all honesty. Yes, I love football. Yes, of course, I'm going to enjoy more football, but there was nothing wrong with 17 weeks. It's just a money grab. That's all it is. It's just another money grab for the league. Like they don't have a ton of money anyways. But so far, we're looking at 142 wins to 95 losses. So I do have a winning record, but it's not quite good enough. I'm sitting right around the middle of the pack, tied with many people. I think I'm like 30th overall out of about 55, 60 odd people. So I'm not going to win this year. I'm not going into a playoff pool, so I might make prediction videos, but there will be no money on the line there. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the picks and predictions. Sorry that they were late, of course, but with the Christmas being on the weekend, that sort of screws up quite a few people's timing for these things. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always. Fourth and most importantly, don't forget to drink responsibly, as I always do. And I hope you guys had a great Christmas, a great weekend. And even if you don't celebrate, I hope you're having a good long weekend, a good day off. It's a stat in a lot of places. So stat holidays for the win, right? Having Monday off and such. And here in Canada, of course, we have Tuesday off as well for Boxing Day. So thank you guys very much for watching and stuff. And festive greetings and salutations and all that good jazz to you and yours, and hope you had a great Christmas, and we'll see you back here next time for week number 17. Not the last week anymore of the NFL picks and predictions. See you back here next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.